Yeah, this is another video related to section 3.3, specifically focusing on the quotient rule. And this is a screen capture of some of the problems from the textbook. And since this is section 3.3 product and quotient rule together, you've got a variety of problems where you may have to choose to use the product rule or the quotient rule. And so the first step is to always decide which rule to use. This problem, if you had to compute it, the derivative to find y prime, or the derivative with respect to x of f of x, if you had to fill in the answer there, you would probably choose to do the product rule because these are two functions f and g being multiplied by each other. Okay? So you would use the product rule on this one to get your answer, and I will leave that one to you. But since this is specifically a quotient rule video, let's select a problem that appears to be using the quotient rule. And number 12 is an example of one because it is two functions, f of w and g of w, two functions being divided by each other. Okay, so then the derivative with respect to w of g of w, otherwise known as the derivative with respect to w of the two functions being, I should call this h, I'm sorry. Let's call this h. Since g is already given, we should probably call this h. Okay, so g itself is two functions being divided, and therefore the quotient rule says that you need to do low times the derivative of the upper function minus the upper function times the derivative of the lower function divided by the lower function squared. That is the quotient rule. Okay, but I find it helps to organize before I put in my answer here. Notice that f is equal to w to the 3.2 power, so f prime is 3.2 w to the 2.2, and that's found using the power rule. Okay? Oops, sorry. So that's found using the power rule. Okay, h is the function 5 to the w, and h prime is found by doing the properties of the exponential function. The derivative of 5 to the w is 5 to the w times the natural logarithm of 5. Okay, so the answer here for the quotient rule would be lower function h, which is 5 to the w, times f prime, 3.2 w to the 2.2, minus the function f, which is the upper function, w to the 3.2 times 5 to the w times the logarithm of 5, divided by the lower function, 5 to the w squared. Okay, and that would be one way you could leave your answer unless the question says to simplify more. If you had to simplify, the only thing I could see to simplify here, because the only problem that has the same base is 5 to the w squared, which is 5 to the w multiplied by 5 to the w, which is 5 to the w plus w, add the exponents, 5 to the 2w. So that's the only thing I could think to simplify here. These don't simplify because this is w to the 2.2. This is a power function, and 5 to the w is an exponential function. So they're different functions from each other and therefore don't combine. So the answer written there in pink is what I would put for the answer. And that ends this video.